Welcome back to another episode of the Grace Between podcast, brought to you by and recorded right here at Tony Ross Recovery Center. Here on the Grace Between podcast, we're going to have some authentic, genuine, real conversations, people, person to person conversations where we're going to talk about addiction, recovery, resilience, faith, and most importantly, second chances. So today's a special episode for me. I am sitting down with someone I truly admire on this side of life, man. I got Jason Coleman in the house with me. Jason is doing some amazing things. He's a consistent 24/7 advocate for hope, for change. This guy is doing things, man, and he is a true he's a warrior for the kingdom as well. And Jason, let's just get right into it, man. Tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Jason Coleman, 32 years old, local here in Bedford County. Have been my whole life. Working on 3.5 years clean and
Three and a
sober.
half years, man.
Uh,
Man, I remember the first week. I wouldn't want to say the first day, but I had the honor and the privilege, and it really was a privilege because we had a lot of fun. There was times where we had to jump back into actual treatment and counseling, but I was proud to be your counselor when you did come through treatment, man. And I will say, to see you today versus then, not just the physical changes that recovery brings, but the mental, the emotional, and most importantly, the spiritual, bro. Like it is night and day, man. And that's the joy. I always say when I go to speak, like the light coming back on is a lot of people's why, and it is part of my why too. Like watching that sparkle, that light come back on. But for me, it's that first good belly laugh. Like when someone first genuinely laughs and truly God only knows how long it's been since someone's really laughed. That's everything. And you and I did a lot of that. We stayed clowning, we stayed having fun. Jason and I are both wrestling fans, mostly the '90s Attitude Era, early 2000s stuff. So we stayed just like doing impersonations of her. I remember you would just give me the craziest scenarios and be like, "Do Macho Man if he was trying to win a stuffed animal for Dusty Rhodes?" And I'd be like, "Hold on 1 second, Dusty. It's coming. Well, listen, if you move the joystick over 3 times, you get that rabbit for your boy." And we would just clown so much, man. I remember administration at the time just kind of looking at us like, is he counseling him or are they just hanging out, So, man, but let's get into it, Jason. Tell us what life was like. Who was Jason Coleman before the addiction? What was life like? What was early life like going into? How old were you when you first picked up that substance, not knowing the kind of pain and the life it was going to take you down? What were you like before addiction?
well, before addiction, I was wild. Uh, you know, I started drinking just because it looked cool when I was like 12 years old,
Yeah, same.
and smoking cigarettes too. And I was lost, but I didn't know I was lost.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I've always felt like a leader, but even leaders need someone to follow,
Yeah.
and that's something that didn't register to me. And I had some good influences. There were some people that influenced me, and when I was around them, I followed and did as they did. But it was that's not when the problem was. The problem was when I wasn't around those people
Yeah.
I mentored or I looked up to. It was when it was just me making my own pure decision. Oh, a derailed train every time. I mean, it was 0 or 100. So prior to addiction, uh, I didn't know myself, my
Yeah.
path, or how to handle it myself alone.
I see that in a lot of us. It's almost like this. It kind of is only comparable to like a midlife crisis, but these are preteens that have this identity issue, and I think that's why a lot of kids who can kind of stay the straight and narrow, because all teenagers are having this problem, but for people like us, I know for me, I the first time I ever put anything into my body, I drank and smoked weed for the first night when I was 12. And what it did for me was it gave me for the first time because I didn't have to worry about um, any of the things that bother me. Like I stayed future tripping a lot. I was 12 years old and had money problems. You know what I mean? Like I was always worried about being broke in the future, and I think that's what attracted me to the lifestyle, not just the substance, but securing money, and things like that. Like that ultimately give me that block of a lot of stuff that teens and preteens experience and go through. You know and now it's 10 times worse with these cell phones. Like, but I think identity is a big issue with people before they get into it, and then it just kind of gives you this. You can create whoever you want to be in addiction. Because listen, an addict is some of the best, hardest working, smartest people on the planet when we're in recovery. But when we're not, man, we are master manipulators, and we can go blend in and be chameleons and meet whatever social requirement to get what we need. And I know you can relate. Like, we can be around um, rednecks, we can be around a hood people, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just for a lack of better words, like we can blend in wherever in order to get what we're looking for.
I can look sober just so I get that first paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. How many times can I think of where I had a first and last paycheck with a company, just re-up money,
Yeah.
at times with the craziness. But so yeah, man, before addiction, 12 years old, just a kid trying to figure out his place in the world. And then tell us a little bit about what it looked like as you started to use and growing into full blown addict. When would you say was the mark where you, looking back after I know you done Tony Ross's step one and stuff like that. So when was the moment where you think it went from abuse into full blown dependency?
I feel like the mental dependency was there before the physical dependency
Okay. Okay.
because, or mental, spiritual, however you want to look at it. I could see both sides because
Yeah.
I never felt good or at peace alone. So I knew, I guess I've always been blessed with a high metabolism too, so I could always eat a lot of food
Yeah.
and it didn't really affect me. And I knew that tasted good. I could eat it and I didn't have the bad side effects as everyone else. Everyone else is just different. And
Mm,
or so I really went hard with that and drove it as far as I could. You know, other people would drink and get addiction. I was like, I in a for a terrible saying, I thought I was built different, and learned the hard way. I'm not. Still bleed red. Yeah,
yeah. 100%. I personally, like, my part of my theology, or my philosophy, I should say, on addiction is it is the one disease known to man that'll try to convince the person with it that it does not have it. And I think that goes a long way to feeding it and fueling it, because you tell yourself, when you start to kind of think maybe I have a problem, or if you don't say it, your family or friends will start to point out things. Like, even the people I was partying with were like, yo, man, you need to slow down. And I'll be like, no, I can out smoke, snort, drink everybody here. I don't have a problem. And then you tell yourself these things in those quiet personal moments, like, well, I'm not living under a bridge, or I'm not on Second Avenue asking to bum a cigarette. I'm not homeless. I'm not broke. I'm not this and this and that. A lot of those, unfortunately, have the word yet, period, to follow. But yeah, that's the justification we tell ourselves. And that prevents people from getting help for a long, long time. I feel like, even though there's plenty of evidence, physical, mental, that would show us otherwise. But man, it pulls the wool over you. Let me ask you this: what did we talked about the early life. We talked about what kind of happened that got you into it. You start idolizing the wrong kind of things. You go from your heroes being Michael Jordan and Steve McNair to whoever had the most dope on the block, whoever the plug was, the connect. Those are kind of the things and the people you start to try to idolize. I feel like that, at least for me, it was like that. I cared more about hustling in order to have things, and then it turned into hustling in order to fuel my disease. And that's the short version of mine. um I know a normal day in an addict's life is often the movie Groundhog's Day. with Bill Murray, where it's rinse, wash, repeat. It's basically the same thing. Like in the fourth step that we do here at Tony Ross Center, you're required to put together a timeline, right? 5 year increments. You remember that? I remember getting to like 20, 25, and being like, "Yeah, it's about to go down," in my Kevin Hart voice, and then being like, uh, I pretty much did the same thing in different towns with different people every day.
Definition
So,
of insanity.
exactly. The definition of insanity, folks, which we subscribe to the belief that it is doing the same exact thing, expecting different results every time. So, yeah, we can skip over that part because you're like me, like every day was pretty much just you, you're stuck in it, but you don't see a way out. And then so ultimately, what brings a lot of people to treatment or some type of recovery program is I cannot envision a future where I continue to use, and I cannot envision a future where I cannot use. It's this ultimate crossroads that feels like mental anguish at its finest, you know. I don't see how I can stop, but I know I have to, you know. So, what kind of led you to the process of give us the ugly, like what happened to get you into a place where you were willing to accept help?
So I'm gonna start with 2021. Now prior to this, I had not been saved, and so I had not felt that conviction. Don't get me wrong, I still wasn't immoral. I didn't have no more. There were some things that just made me feel bad, but there were a lot of things that I didn't feel convicted about. But I got saved in jail, and I come out, made it about 4 hours, decided to start doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
Everything hit a little harder, a lot harder.
the
Uh,
tolerance was gone.
yeah, and I felt convicted about everything, and you know, some of them bad feelings didn't go away when I got high. They got worse,
Mm,
and so I picked up drinking a lot more
to
oh,
drown out the guilt.
to numb out the bad side effects and the meth. And I didn't even like smoking pot then, but I started smoking pot just because it would mellow my mind. And before you know it, I'm doing a round the clock circle of three different substances. Two of them I don't even want to do. They're just to counteract the other one.
Yeah,
And it's just to get a comfortable medium so I can stay up 24 hours and build stuff in a shed.
yeah,
And that, I mean, that led to my mother putting an order of protection on me. Might have been the second one, second from her, I think. And and this was November 2022, and it's cold outside. And I had the police officer just drop me off at a speedway because I didn't know where to go. And
yeah.
I was able to couch surf a little bit, couch surf with my buddy, and he's derailing too. He's derailing, chasing the money more than the substance, but the money comes from the substance. And I'm just I don't even care about life anymore. I'm giving up. Thought I was doing all right. I was getting the kids on the weekend. Like I was settled for the bare minimum. I wasn't truly being a dad. I was just all right. Come over Saturday, Sunday. You know,
The amount we're willing to accept out of life in those lows is crazy.
it's like
Like,
bragging rights.
yeah, it's like just enough to keep front, just enough to
Yeah,
keep my face value or my image, I should say.
that's
You
about
know,
it.
like you want to appear to be these things, you know. I remember a low of my life, man. Looking back on this, it is so cringe, but it is also so funny because we believe in the power of laughter, you know, as we have talked about plenty. You know, people are healing when the light comes on, but you really know someone's really healing when they get that first belly laugh, you know. There was a time where I was lying to my grandmother about getting a job at McDonald's. Like, not knocking the McDonald's industry whatsoever, anybody working in fast food, but I was lying about having a job that I didn't have because at the time I had just got out of jail, crashing at Granny's house, had to come up with a good enough justification of one, where's the money coming from? Two, why do I stay gone on third shift hours at all times and I'm sleeping all day? Because I was hustling. So I had to figure out some type of excuse. And I'm like looking back my first year of recovery and be like, man, I couldn't have come up with a better lie. Like there's plenty of factories and stuff, but I was like, no. And I remember like calling her, feeling guilty and being like, hey, by the way, I know I've worked step 9 with you, but do you remember that McJob that I told you? And she was like, yeah, we knew you were lying. I was like, how did you know? She's like, you worked at McDonald's for quote unquote 6 months, and I never seen a uniform. It's just these crazy justifications that we give ourselves, man, and it's brutal. But let's get back to that. Let's talk about what you accepted as the life around you.
I accepted. I was making some decent money, and I was making like $20 an hour. And
Oh, so you had a job at this point?
at this point,
Okay.
well,
While you were staying at your
at
buddy's
my,
house.
well, I was staying at my mother's until the order protection.
Right,
Order
right, right.
protection happened, crashed, blah. I was out. But
But
right
still
prior
working then?
uh
Or was
prior to
it
the order protection, I was working.
but after that it was
After that, it
crash?
was hustling,
Yeah.
and dude, even making $700 a week, I wouldn't buy myself underwear or socks
Oh yeah,
or
man.
anything. Yeah, it was awful to think that I was like $400 a week was like substance money, and then if they took the child support out of my check, then they got it. But they didn't take it out. I didn't.
That's
I
more
blame the
money.
system. I blame the
Yeah,
system. Yeah,
that's their problem. Yeah.
system messed up. You should have got it while you could because it's gone now.
Not how do I make it right, but yeah.
Yeah,
That was y'all's bad. It's done up my nose and my veins now, yeah.
yeah. There ain't no getting it back unless you an autopsy. But
Yeah, man. I think we can all, listeners included, think of people that have been in it or maybe are in it still, where it's like whatever the job is, it doesn't matter how well it pays. Because I know there's been times where I had very low paying jobs and still found a way to get high. And there's been times where I've been making, like, I worked at Dell Computers for a while, like yard dogging it, making killer money back in the like, this was like 2010. So back then, like 21 bucks an hour was good money back then while hustling. Like it's crazy because the golden rule of the lifestyle is don't get high on your own supply, which for most of us in recovery, that turned into supply in order to get high
yeah,
at the least amount of cost on the funds. You know what I mean? But it's crazy. Like you talked about the work we put into keeping up exterior image. Talk a little bit about that. Like how hard was you working at trying to convince everybody else that you didn't have a problem? Did you do a lot of that, or was you just
yeah.
kind of like,
Well, there was a point where I did because people came around me, but then there was a point to where
you didn't care?
they stopped coming around because they knew I was that there were. I tried my best to hide it, but I was also the type of person that would be on top of the roof with a skill saw at 3 a.m. not caring.
Yeah,
So like I was a firm believer of this drug gives me energy. Why would I want to do it and hide that? So
yeah.
there was I was pretty reckless. Pretty reckless. I mean, the neighbors was like a police dispatch and they'd come out all the time 5 a.m. like turn the stereo down. And then when they close the door, I'd be like, you turn down.
The level of Superman Buck is crazy, and to the point, like we share the same drug of choice. Well, especially all three things you said was my daily routine. Uppers in some form or fashion, typically methamphetamine, but also alcohol and weed. Like had to have all three of those. A speedball addict, and they say, just a little lie here, they say the slowest moving creature on the planet is a geeker in a hurry because you would spend so much time trying to get ready, like be sort I'm looking for presentable when you did go out. But then there was a lot of times where in the same day you just felt indestructible or like nobody knew, and if they did, it's my business anyways. I'm not hurting anybody. So I feel like that's a good point for us to segue into who all was really hurting the most during that time in your life.
Definitely, definitely my kids, because you know there were times my son would call me off his mother's phone crying because he wouldn't talk to me before bed, and I'd be just a geeker in a hurry, probably tweaking out on a car system or something.
Yeah,
And there'd be times my sister or my nephews would want me to come over and have family outings, and I didn't go around for years just because, unless it was an event that other people were going to be drinking at, so that way I knew I could fit in. And
a little bit
yeah,
better.
like, oh,
Yeah.
people are drinking,
I
I
can
can,
appear to be
I can drink.
intoxicated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know how to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Your sister, man, she was a huge contributor, support, all the things for Jason 2.0, we should say.
Yeah, yeah,
I know even in your testimonial that's on the TRC website, I remember like putting it, editing, and putting it on the website for you, and it ending with along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, but thank God for Tony Ross Center and my sister who
yeah,
never gave up on me.
yeah. A sister that loved me more than I love myself. Just like
Yeah.
you walk in the doors of Tony Rice Center, you'll meet some people that love you more than you love yourself.
She would be a great guest to have on the show of what it means like to have that grace that don't quit. You know, it's great. She truly believed in you at a lot of times. Or I remember because I was your counselor. I remember her calling me to check on you and see how you were doing, and she was not wanting to hear like she was gonna find out like
Yeah,
has he been in trouble? What on you know what I mean? But then whenever like she found out you were going to get to go to the house, like it was like what can I do to help? Like she just jumped in there. Like it's beautiful that you and I still had a couple of bridges to people that still loved us. Like I know we burned so many, man, but to still have that one person at least that believed in you,
yeah,
you know. For me, my grandparents and my mom, of course, but and my sister, man, my sister was at one point in time wanting to go study psychology to help her big brother, and I remember that shatter in my heart. Like she had come up here for a visitation when I was going through this program at Tony Rice Center, and she said, "Well, I think you're gonna be okay now. I don't have to pursue the addiction psychology career. Like I think you're gonna be okay." Like she wanted to know more about this in order to help me. 'Cause she's one of those people. I think she may have had a glass of wine once in her life.
oh
You
wow,
know, didn't like it. Just wasn't for her. Like I'm the black sheep of my family by far. You know, and man, to have that love and support is beautiful. Not saying there doesn't come a time where people have to stop enabling because there definitely is that. And we'll get into that in some future episodes. I got some really cool guests for y'all to come on with some family expertise and how to properly love without enabling things like that. But I don't know. So for me, man, getting trust back was huge. So describe a little bit before we get into the whole process of what recovery looked like and the hard work that you put in. What does it feel like today, bro, to know that your sister looks at you with so much trust? What does it mean to earn the look in your kid's eyes today? Is like, what's that feel like when you? I know y'all guys do family vacations and outings and stuff together, man. Like all the time, like y'all have y'all's own tribe, you know, like you
yeah.
and your sister and her husband and her sons and you and your family, your wife and y'all's children. Like I know that's gotta feel amazing, man. To
Oh, it
know that they don't have to worry like Jason's not gonna dip out of the hotel and go do hotlines in the parking lot. You know what I mean? Like, what's that trust feel like to you today?
it's it's really undescribable. It's something that I took for granted, but it now that I've got it, I never realized I had it when I did and what it meant. But it
Man,
priceless. It's it's a great feeling to know that someone's going to take my word and they don't have to second guess it. And it's a great feeling to know that I can spread that to my stepson and really align his thinking with how how a man should conduct himself in this world. You give somebody your word, you want them to go to sleep knowing that it's going to happen, and the same thing. So it feels good to be able to give that to someone and really mentor, and also it feels good to know that if I tell my children I'm gonna do something, they believe it. They don't even ask, "Are you really? Is it too expensive, or is it are you sure not gonna have to work over, or is your back gonna hurt?" They know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they don't have to worry.
Yeah,
So now they're getting not just the Jason who makes appearances and may or may not provide some stuff for them. Child support is an example, other things,
yeah,
but they're getting the whole you. They're getting you fully present. They're
yeah,
getting your time, your attention, and they're getting your prayers. They're getting your heart. They're getting all of that. And that's what true restoration looks like, man. So, in order to get to today, where you are today, the amazing dad, the hard worker, the trustable, the employable, trustworthy guy that you are, serving on a lot of cool things we'll dive into. But what did it take? Like, what would you say your rock bottom moment was that was shortly followed by entering treatment?
my rock bottom was
What was your people's elbow? No, sorry. A little wrestling humor for y'all. What was your rock bottom? Rock bottom.
probably it wasn't the first time I was homeless. It wasn't the second time I was homeless. I'm not quite sure if it was the third because uh, my mother took me back in a lot. And when I say took me back in, sometimes I would just come back, show back up, and
Yeah,
she'd just get used to me being there. I'd help something, and then she'd be like, "All right, you can stay."
mama's love.
It was probably the last time I was homeless, 2022. It was cold outside. The temperature was -1. There was snow. All I had was a pair of coveralls.
This
I
is
didn't
here
even,
in Shelbyville.
yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't even care about the dope I had. I said, this stuff's not gonna warm me up. All I want to do is sleep. I ain't slept in 4 days. I ain't ate in four
yeah,
days.
man.
And me and my buddy was living in his truck, and I done cracked the rear windshield out, picking up a couch off the side of the road because I was gonna sell it, and it cost me a lot more.
Yeah,
And so we got lots of air coming in. It's cold. It's cold. His got the Intoxilock. We can't run the battery because it won't start.
oh man,
It's
man.
and we were just. I mean, I didn't stop and get sober, but I was like, this life sucks. This is not quality. I have
This is not
nothing.
life.
Like I have a bag of stuff that needs to be washed, nowhere to wash it. I have a pair of coveralls I wear because they don't stink and they keep me warm, and I don't have a blanket. And I have a pair of boots, and for socks, I have the sleeves I ripped off my shirt because I still do dope and do wild things. And every time I get wild, I rip my sleeves off.
Yeah.
Every time. I mean, it's like,
I don't know what that infatuation is with
yeah,
geekers. It's like
it's just,
allergic to sleeves, not chains, but sleeves for sure.
yeah, yeah, it just always happened.
Oh man,
Actually, it got a little bit lower. That individual who he's clean today too. But
praise God.
yeah, he uh he got arrested, and we both had warrants for the same thing: theft under 1,000, take scrap metal by a dumpster. And we just at one point was like, I was like, all right, I'm getting tired of kind of staying in truck. No offense, you're selling dope at 3 a.m. in a town that has no stores open at 3 a.m. You're blaring Yo Gotti, like, brother, you're literally a rolling target. Like,
They know.
I
They know.
I've got warrants, and so do you, but I don't want to go out. I don't. I want to try and bond myself out one day if I can.
Right, right,
Never
right.
happened, but so I ended up staying with another friend, and old trucker, uh, wild, more wild and reckless than my Superman self. And I mean, I'd see him,
More rowdy cat's been at it for a while. Yeah,
yeah, living
yeah.
out in the boonies and stayed in the camper with them. And he had a individual around that I had ran off with his money, and this person tried to kill me on several occasions. I mean, gunpoint in the middle of the yard, middle of the day, didn't care. And he had a gun in my
Yeah.
back in my mama's house in her bedroom, so like did not care. Uh, and they started plotting on me. At least I think so. And it was I was ready just to start walking until whatever I was telling. I had tried to hide my addiction from my ex-wife because I knew she wouldn't let me talk to the
That meant the
kids.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, but I even got to the point was like, look, I'm probably just gonna go to Tony Rice Center. I don't have any options of where to go. I'm getting tired of living the way I'm living. I'm bumming money off people every day, and like it was just like I know I know I could do better. and I felt like the best version of myself was just a story. I used to do this. I used to have a job. I used to have all these things, and then I would get the question that stung. Well, what happened?
Yeah,
And we're sitting there doing the same drug together, and I'm like, this,
we're doing it. Yeah,
yeah, like this is what happened.
yeah. So, what happened to get you to TRC?
Uh, See, in March of that year, I had contemplated coming on my own several times just because I wanted some food, I wanted a bed, and like I was sleeping on the couch in a camper. We had water, like rainwater. We used the shower water in a reservoir. Cooked everything on a wood stove because he would pee on his dishes. And I'm not kidding. He would throw them in the bathtub, and then if the toilet was clogged, he'd pee on them, and then later wash them, and he'd be like, "It'll be all right." Oh, dude. Yeah, yeah, it was
Rowdy
awful.
was an understatement.
Yeah, yeah, and I
But that's the normalcy of that kind of chaos, especially that drug of choice.
yeah,
I think earlier I might have said the term DOC for listeners. That means drug of choice. If you don't know, if you know, you know. But like, man, I've seen some weird, crazy things. It's like a different world. It's a whole different culture. Amongst stuff like that. Yeah.
Dr.
Can
Seuss meets the Christmas Bride or something. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really is. Princess Bride, yeah. It's
yeah.
it's crazy, man. It really is. I mixed with the little dash of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
There you go.
Kind of,
Yeah,
the Dr. Zeus poems. Right? You'll see some stuff that's crazy. I'm I'm someone who has very proudly today can say that I got a hyper focus ADD. Like I love it today. So my drug of choice, it never got me like super weird. But so I was. What's worse than being stuck in a Dr. Seuss movie is being the only like semi normal part. I'm not gonna say I was like totally normal doing meth, but it always kind of. I was always the one agitating and messing with other people, just out of pure evilness and boredom. I'd be like, "Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? I think the TBI's out the window, man. Y'all might need to look." And then I'll go playing window Nintendo, and I'm just kick back rolling a blunt, laughing. Like
yeah,
it's. But it is a crazy subculture, man. And Jason and I can both laugh about it today, but it is truly you can't convince me that the drug itself, methamphetamine, was not made by what feels like straight in the bowels of hell by the devil himself. Like it is the one drug that I have done that made me question my soul. It really made me feel like I was becoming soulless, like I
hmm
was so much less than a person, caught in that tornado, that just absolute nonstop whirlwind of quick of like de-escalation. If that's the right term to use. Like I just constantly felt like I was declining as a person who knew I had a soul, or knows I am a soul. Love the C.S. Lewis quote: "You don't have a soul, you are a soul. You have a body."
yeah,
But just constantly, and I grew up in the church, and was baptized and stuff like that, and uh, I really just felt like I was not intact, not just mentally, but spirit. Like this, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying. And I see you're nodding your head this whole time for the listeners, but it is but it is one of those things where because we have made it out and like are laughing at it is purely because now that we have rational, like semi-normal thinking, you know what I mean? It's you look back at that craziness and you're like, golly, what a different world that goes on every day that people don't know about, just the craziness. So back to it, so you were in jail, right?
uh, see, last we were talking about was
What
the
led to that? You were cold, you were in the truck,
yeah.
you took off walking from the
Uh,
house.
I ended up making it to town to stay at a friend's house here in town, right next door to the liquor store. So that was a plus. And my plan for about a month, I was planning on. I was called the police commissioner all the time, like, "Hey man, I got warrants, blah blah blah. This is what happened." good long sap story where I victimized myself. But
Oh yeah, yeah, for
you know,
sure.
I tried to negotiate deals with them. I was like, hey man,
Yeah,
can you guarantee I'll get bonded out for $150? Like, cause that's all I got.
yeah,
And then I need some courage to go do it because like I'm not going to take myself to jail
right.
willingly without knowing I'm getting out. So I got some liquid courage, and before you know it, I didn't have enough to ball myself out. And it cycle kept going and kept going and kept going, and it never ended until I had some money. I was staying in a hotel. Uh, Decided to start living in a hotel and then getting paid daily and staying in a hotel, and the cycle never ended. I never had money for anything, and except for my hotel. But then I'd buy dope, and then I wouldn't have money for the hotel. And I don't know why it didn't click and register. It's the irrational, unlogical thinking. But the weekends were the hardest because I got paid daily, and I didn't work the weekend. So I'd have to either prepay in advance, which was if you were getting high, you didn't spend all your money on things that would help you. You
Nah,
spent all your money on
nah.
things that would hurt you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
One pack of ramen would be good for a week, but you know,
Man,
uh, yeah, I ended up trying to return some pajamas to the store because I needed to get some alcohol in me because I didn't I didn't ever really get the shakes too bad, but I knew I had drank every day, and I've been doing this for probably a year and a half straight. And I was like, logically, yeah, I'll probably get the shakes. So I was like, I'm gonna avoid that. So it was getting that time to start serving beer again and stuff. And I knew I had the receipt. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm about to go return these, get $5, get me two still reserved, and then I'm gonna go down the road to the scrap yard because I had $9 there. It's still there. I never went and picked it up to this day. And I was like, then I'm gonna get me a bottle and a pack of cigarettes, and then I'm gonna start the day when I get to feeling all right. I was like, but I
yeah,
ain't made it that far yet. And
right.
in the process, they didn't want the shorts. I probably rolled around in dog crap, honestly. Like I rolled around in the yard, I knew,
Wait,
and
you was finna take used pajamas back?
I was still wearing them. I went in the store while I was wearing them, and I actually decided to make a scene, so I stood up on top of the table where the mannequins are, and
Was this at like Roses or something?
yeah, yeah, I took them off in the store, and because I think I had swim trunks on
Oh
underwards,
man.
and that lady called the cops. And I went to run and leave, and I left my phone in there, and she was nice enough to give it back to me because I didn't gave them all the bird and all this stuff, and I ran. I thought I was gonna be slick. I knew somebody lived in a camper down the road, and they weren't home, so I just started walking the block, and then it wasn't too hard to find me, and I went and slept for probably about 4 days. It was they were like, "You sure you ain't gonna have anyone bond you out?" Oh no! At first, I thought I was getting bonded out. It was $150.
Yeah,
My mug,
somebody
yeah,
will buy me out.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, my mugshot I was smiling. I was like, I know I'm getting out of here. Yeah, it never
All
happened.
the Superman confidence in the world.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it never happened. Never got bonded out. And
Yeah.
the
All them
DA and
real
all that.
100s he was
Yeah,
running with. Yeah.
yeah. I even was at someone's house prior, and they were like, "Hey, just call me." I called them, and they were like, "Just call me when you get to jail. Worst come to worst, I got some money that I owe you. I'll put it on your books." Dude, I called them, and then you know what happened? It rang once or
Man.
twice, and then it was like the person has blocked your number. I was like, man, like, cause it'll notify you
Yeah.
when you text them if they blocked.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, guess I burnt that bridge
Yep.
because I did try and kick their door in, and then their brother he's a bit wild. He was smoking crack and meth, which some people it messes up all people, but they both do some strange things to people. And he
Yeah.
come out the
That's
door
what I
with two
think they call
machetes,
two
and
machetes.
yeah,
Yeah, two machetes.
this guy got convicted for murder twice and beat it because it was self defense in Memphis. Or he was wearing the wrong color walking down Frazier, and
Oh
one
yeah.
of the Bloods tried to get him, and he ended up beating him to death. And he sat in jail for about 3 years until he beat it, and he got out. But so when I seen him come out with the machetes, I was like, ah, dude, I, I'm not risking this
He
one.
ain't
I'll
fin-
just leave. Yeah,
yeah.
like it's not. I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah. You got that fatality.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, I'm in your house. You
Flawless
got
victory,
machetes.
bro.
I was like, I don't know. Yeah, but when I got in jail, it was a relief because they gave me food. I got
Yeah.
to sleep. My friend was in there, the one that I was staying with in the truck, and like it was stressful because I'm just thinking, all right, I got about 3 weeks to figure something out. I'm gonna try and figure out how to solve every problem I got in that short window of time, and it's just like nothing.
I have
No
no
options.
solution.
No solution. I call my sister will answer a collect call. She won't put money on my book for me to make a call because I told her there was Suboxone in there, and she was like, she was like, I'll answer your calls, but that's it. And she was like, I'm gonna stop answering your calls unless you get help because that's what you need. That's why you're in here. You may be arrested for theft, but like you have a drug problem.
You know what caused the theft,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
which is the case in most situations. Yeah,
it was just honest truth that I couldn't argue. And it was, I told her I was like, all right, will you help me get help because I can't do it on my own. And when I get out of here, I'm gonna be honest, I'll stop and get a beer. I'll stop at the dope man's house. Like I know the route I'll take to Tony Rice, and I'll never make it there.
yeah.
And she did all the
Too
intake
many
for
liquor
me.
stores in the way.
Yeah. And I was still had reservations at that point because I was like, nah, I don't want to do it court ordered because like I don't know, like what if I decide to move out or
Right?
something
Yeah.
like
What if I ain't feeling it?
so I was like I don't want to tell the judge that I'm going to do it because it's just a theft charge like and so we went that route which ended up not even mattering anyway. Like I ended up finishing it and doing the program and staying for a while anyway. So like it it takes a while for the mind to really change like to get to some rationality. Like just 90 days isn't enough to do it.
Nah, absolutely not.
A year's not enough.
It's not. It's a good. It's a good place to start pouring the concrete on what you want the rest of your foundation. Whether it's the foundation of what you want the rest of your life to look like. Uh, I love that, man. I love. There's a quote by J.K. Rowling that says, "Rock bottom became the firm foundation on which I rebuilt my life upon." And man, brother, you got a rock bottom story, man. So I do want to add something. You said you came here, you graduated the program, so on and so forth. But brother, you didn't just graduate the program; you put in the work. It tells because I know there's like I can even think of a couple of cats who came and graduated the program who maybe they're not doing the same things you're doing on today's life. So what the work looks like, the effort, the energy, the time you put in. Let's talk about that for a minute, man. Because your step work on par, your effort on par, man. You really went the extra mile, and that is what produced the quality of success you have. So you did the program, but you did it with your whole heart. Like I think once you became at a low where the only place you had to look was up, that's when God blessed you with TRC, which really you needed the camaraderie, you needed the science of education, the relapse prevention, the CBT, DBT, 12 step facilitation, all that stuff we do, but you needed to be invested in
Yeah.
because I needed to be invested in almost 11 years ago. I needed God to put people in my life who were literally going to love me back to life, you know? Addiction took us both to places that we never ever wanted to go, and recovery has taken us both to places that we never ever dreamed possible. So let's talk about life today, man. Let's first talk about because there was a lot of beautiful struggles, not the same kind of addiction struggles, but a lot of beautiful struggles early on. Before we built the new Loki house over there, we had a small house. It was named Hawkins House after Jim Hawkins, the first counselor at TRC. But it's an older house. It was built a long time ago. I watched you do a lot of sacrificing when you lived there, man. So talk about that a little bit. Talk about the some of the sacrifices you made for success rather than the sacrifices you made for addiction. Talk about how hard you worked, early on, just got out of treatment. What was life like?
Well, I didn't have like a lot of people who come here. I didn't have a valid driver's license. Mine was for child support, back child support, and I was about 10,000 behind at that point. Uh, did have DWIs on my record, but been enough time in between got them back. So of course I was Yeah, I'm out. I'm clean. I'm sober. But the only like I'm out there paying $12.50 a day for taxi, or I'm paying, or I'm riding a bike, or I'm walking. So I started out with the. I generally don't like to rely on people. Not that I don't trust people. I've seen taxi cabs be late. I've seen I've seen people not follow through and pick you up,
Yeah.
and it's not that it's a bad. It's just I like to know when I get off work, I'm in control of just going home. So I went with places that were within walking distance. Started out with Golden River Feed. I think there was a broken bike here that I found out was broken because like the whole pedal came off and was
Yeah.
like you could pedal it
I
downhill.
remember that, dude. Yeah.
Downhill was good, but it was downhill there. It was uphill the way back.
On the way home. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that job, to be honest, that job sucked. I took it because it was close and it paid, and I
Yeah.
that was it. And then actually, I took a weekend job too for my first weekend because you couldn't go nowhere. And I took a job with Randstad at the brewery, like near a screen. Like they had me serving alcohol to people,
Yeah. It's crazy.
and it was for the Omegas.
It's crazy we let you do that too.
Well, yeah, it was for the
That's some
Omegas.
oversight on that.
It was for the Omegas event. Well, they didn't tell us in the job description that you were going to be. All they said was trash cleanup.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about alcohol until I got there, and they were like, "Here, put this and pour this in cups for people." And it was like, "Oh man!"
What a test,
I was like,
dude.
"I'll do it," but like,
This guy who didn't trust himself to walk past liquor stores to get the
yeah,
treatment is now being asked to serve.
4 months clean. I was like, and I had to tell Randstad that, like, they didn't want to hire me at all. They were like, "You no called, no showed us twice in the past 6 months." So I just had to lay it all down the line, tell them the truth, and I was like, "Hey, I was high then. I was using. I was, living a manipulative life." I was like, "But I went and got clean and sober. Tony Rice. I'm living a new life. I'm trying to do things different. 4 months clean. Like, uh, I hope that accounts for something because I'm trying to do better." She was like, "We'll give you a chance." She's
Yeah.
like, "But that's it." And that was the Omega's a big cleaning event, and it was a it was a test, but we made it through it. There were two other recovery brothers that were there, and they got tempted. They were like, "Come on, let's just go do it." I was like, "Nah, dude. Like, this is just don't know."
So
I was
now
like,
you're in this position
"Yeah,
to be the voice of reason, which feels
yeah,
weird. It still feels weird to me sometimes today. I'm used to let's all go, destroy, destroy everything, like, and then you have to be the voice of reason. It's crazy.
They were like, "No one will know." I was like, "Yeah, but you'll know. I'll know."
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
and like, I don't want to lie for you at all. Like,
man,
don't put
and
me in a position
it
because
is a pure product of the work that you put in the step work, in the belief in a higher power, whom you and I both choose to call Jesus, and like it is that produced the integrity to where like nobody will know, but we'll know.
yeah,
God will know. God will see it. It's. But that was a crazy test early on, man, to be around that much alcohol. So that didn't work out. So then, what the next chapter look like?
well,
What was the move after that?
after I did that 1 day job, it worked. Then though, I mean, they ended up paying me twice, and I tried to give them the money back, and they were like, "No, that's how it's supposed to be." I was like, "I don't think that's right," because I was like, "Y'all paid me like $35 an hour," and
Should have been 70. Having
yeah.
something.
After that, I left. I think I left. I think I just hated near Golden River Feed so much. It was had me weighing up powders and mixing it, and I was like, "Dude, I'm so familiar with this." And in the back of my mind, I
Every
was
job's a
like,
trigger for you, dude.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
In the back of my mind, all I could think of
You want me to
was,
bag it up too? I can eyeball all this right
"Yeah,
here,
yeah."
boy.
I was like, "Dude, I don't even need the scales."
Oh, snap.
Back of my mind, I was like, "I wonder if they still have those salt lick blocks that have pseudoephedrine in it." That was because in my addiction days, I was like, "I'm gonna get a job there and try and get one of those blocks and make a bunch of dope."
Yeah.
And but it wasn't the job that was the problem. Like gas stations aren't the cause of alcoholism. It's
Right.
it's from within. So like, there's some soul searching there and some deep personal inventory. I ended up going to Albea, and just like every other job, there was there was I won't call it temptation because I really don't have a desire. The alcohol was a little tempting because I always had fun when I was drunk. But little backstory: the last day I used, which was April 13th, I with the guy with the machetes, I was there because everyone else that day kicked me out of their house, and I had dope, and they were all happy about that. But then when
Yeah,
I pulled the
naturally.
bottle of liquor out, they were like, "Jason, you can't be here." It was like, "We like you and we like doing the go go stuff with you, but you're a jerk when you drink, and we don't." And it was like, "You just loud and you break stuff," and they were like, and there were so many people. It was like 8 houses in a row, and I was like, "Dude, what is this bull
From
crap?"
Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde, they
Yeah,
watched the transformation. Yeah.
they were even people with at my judgmental mindset at that time. I was like, people with worse problems than me were judging my problems. I was like, finally, I just said, you know what? They can't all be wrong. Like statistically, 100% of them can't be all wrong. Like there's some numbers there, and I was like, dang, maybe I don't know.
Maybe there's something to
Maybe
this.
there's something
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should hang around different people or something.
Yeah.
And I ended up did, and it ended up, but I made it to Albea, and it's a good environment. There's a lot of God serving people there, and it's just they do like there's a lot of people that are, you know, to say good morning, and that's something that goes a long way just for building a
It
relationship
is
with
making you
somebody.
feel like you're a part of a team
Yeah,
and actual communication instead of just another backbreaker. Man
yeah.
killer job. Yeah.
There were a lot of people. There's a lot of people there that are involved in my recovery because they saw me walking to work all the time, and I didn't take the street route, so only time I ever took that is I need to stop by a store, and if they see me, they recognize me, and they pick me up. And I wouldn't say no if they stopped right there beside me, but I never asked. I never asked anybody for a ride because Brian Dayton, who was um, at the halfway house, he made a comment because he was giving everybody's rides and all this stuff, and he's like, "Man, I don't mind giving y'all rides." He said, "But I want y'all to know before I was taking this van that I bought, he's like, I was walking and putting the work in too, and he's like, no offense to y'all, I wasn't asking every driver I seen for a ride. He's like, I was trying to take care of things on my own, and that kind of stuck with me. So I was like, like it's not that far. It's a 3 minute walk. Like it's not that far.
It was the sense of independence
Yeah,
as well. And I know, because I know you well enough I know a lot of it was, well, if I walk like this in addiction, I can walk like this in recovery,
I
you know?
walked way farther in addiction,
Exactly.
way more
Exactly.
uncomfortable, smelled way worse. I mean, boots year round.
And you had an any links mentality over
Yeah,
there, man. Like I seen you taking off on the bike in the rain sometimes, or walking in the rain sometimes, and getting to and from. So, man, your endurance in those times is truly something to be respected and acknowledged. Because that's kind of sometimes, especially back in those days of the old house, like it really separated the men from the boys. You know, you see a lot of people, they'll cross that creek, as we say here, and they get a cell phone and a sense of humor, and all of a sudden the crisis has been averted.
mm-hmm.
It's time to stop putting work in. I got Facebook and the chance of getting a car back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now I can chill. I've just done 90 days in treatment. I can let off the gas a little bit, and you and I know when it comes to addiction, there's really not a whole lot of leeway. You're either working on your recovery or you're working on a relapse. People
yeah.
get too complacent a lot of times, which is something we are constantly trying to, especially today now more than ever, like motivate that house to stay plugged in, stay doing things. But
Stay thinking.
yeah,
Like you don't want to just know the answer. You want to have to think
right,
about it.
right, and to remain teachable. That's
Yeah.
one of the most important lessons I learned. Like when I left, I stayed at the Hawkins house too for about a year. Did my fair share of being stuck out in the rain with no ride and all this and that. But like I remember the remain teachable phrase that my counselor Tim Loki, who I'm going to talk plenty about on this podcast, but that was the last thing he told me when I was finally ready to get an apartment and move in and get my own spot. I said, "Do you have anything left for me?" He said, "Remain teachable." And I remember sharing that with you when you got ready to like spread your wings, man. So tell us what life looked like after the the transitional living, the recovery living, what happened then?
Well, like most men that go to a transitional living, I moved out because of a girl. And
That happens.
yeah. Yeah, that certainly does happen. I we moved in together, and things were great. They still are great. Uh, we did pretty well at setting up boundaries, walls, when learning each other. Like all relationships, the first month is, I'm not gonna say it's fake, but it's things don't aggravate you. Like if we would have loaded the
It's
dishwasher
the
together
honeymoon
then,
phase. Yeah.
yeah, versus loading the dishwasher together now, it's two different stories. Like there
Yeah.
is no loading together now. It's you got it all right.
You did it and you did it wrong. Now I have to
Yeah,
fix it.
yeah. Uh, but I honestly, I started realizing about the time I was moving out. I told Eddie, my sponsor, also a counselor here, and made it real far.
Yes, sir. Shout out to
Very,
Eddie,
very motivational person.
feature guest on the podcast. Yep.
I told him we were talking about potential. We were doing an extra meeting on a Saturday or something. Just I think some guys needed help getting meetings in. I might have been one of them, and we're talking about potential. And I was like, dude, I don't know what my potential is because I started doing things that I thought I'd never do, like bicycling in 15-degree weather, and going 8 miles to work and back, which isn't a lot, but on a bicycle when it's so cold in the middle of December when you're going to work at 4 in the morning, I was like, that is cold.
Yeah.
It was cold. You learn real fast what type of jacket you wear. If it ain't got you don't grasp your wrist, you don't want your air's flowing in, it's gonna be the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, I'm doing things I've never expected myself to not be lazy enough to do, really.
Right.
And I was like, so I bet if I put some more effort into things, I'd get more results. So I was like, I think I'm gonna start trying real hard at things, and just I've always been that person. Like, if I'm gonna do like, I've got a lot of energy naturally just to put into things, and why not just go full Rampage Jackson on some stuff.
Yes, sir.
And so got back child support caught up. Got vehicle. Actually, ended up selling the e-bike to another recovery brother for a very, very, very low discounted rate.
Yeah.
I mean, little to no payments.
Right.
Like,
It was just your way of investing into someone else who needed it.
yeah. I had an Xbox here that was given to me, and I left it with the house because I was like, just it was a hobby I tried to pick up, but I'm just not a gamer.
Yeah, me neither.
Like,
Yeah.
me and the wife ended up going on vacations.
So got married. That's
Yeah,
something we
got married, bought a house.
recently, a couple
yeah.
months ago. Yeah.
It'll be a year in August.
Year in August,
Yeah.
man. That's crazy. I remember when that first happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and got promoted at work.
Yes,
Got,
sir.
what else?
So you got to move at work from just using your hands to now using your brain
Yeah.
and
There's
and
not a complacent moment.
using your whole entire being in the type of work you do now. Whether I mean, blue collar labor makes the world go round, but you got to be in a position where they sing your abilities and your skills that are all products of grace in your recovery, the efforts you put in, the investments God, your sister, everybody put into you to earn a promotion, to get you
Yeah.
to the next level, right when you needed it too.
I wasn't going to apply. My wife was actually going to apply, and I think she would have got it if she applied. And she encouraged me to, and then I was like, you know what, I'll go update my resume now, and I applied and ended up getting it. And it was right after we got married. We was going on honeymoon. Just got approved for. We had to do a little bit of journeying to get our credit where it needed to be.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we got everything where it needed to be. Got debt consolidated. Got things where they needed to be, 30% balance, whatnot. And then we went on a honeymoon in Florida. It was real nice.
Living, man.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone to the Bahamas. We've gone to Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. We recently just spent a week in Orange Beach. we're actually going July to Kentucky Kingdom. My son's we got a vacation booked there, and
Yeah.
a little bit of praise here. We didn't know. I mean, we knew how we was gonna pay for it. We wouldn't, but it, family of six, really expensive mortgage.
Yeah.
Sometimes the bigger things at once are a little more harder hits. We gave the kids an option of do they want to do a birthday party with presents and friends, or do they want to pick one friend and go on a trip for their birthday? And like if anyone else gives some presents, that's fine. But like that would be our present is we're gonna
Yeah.
put you in a hotel and we're gonna pay for you and your friends and all
Yeah.
that to go to an amusement park
Right.
or to stay in the cabin or something. And they chose that. And dude, where I guess I don't remember what it's called. Our mortgage where we paid more on our equity assessment or something like that. There was a check for like almost $700 on our table that had been sitting for like 3 weeks because I thought it was just some statement that I saying I had paid the mortgage, and I noticed it said important. Like it about got thrown. I was in the process of throwing away mail that I didn't open because I just know what's in there apparently.
Right. Right.
And I opened it, and it was a check for like $664, and
Everybody's gonna be checking their mail after this
yeah,
episode.
yeah. And me and the wife were like, "Hey," we were telling my son, "We're like, God paid for your birthday." Like we
Yeah.
didn't because like
Love that, man.
it just was there, and
I love that you guys both give credit where it's really due, especially to your kids, man. That's setting such a good example.
yeah,
So from couch surfing to family vacation surfing around to all these cities, man. That's the beauty of what recovery does. So Jason, real quick, man, I want to touch down a little bit more like of what life is today. So I remember just seeing this and thinking this guy would be perfect for this and forwarding you the mentorship thing, man. And then so you did it. Like I probably sent that to like 20 people because it's a new initiative the state was doing. People who have been justice involved now getting into a position in their life to give back and to mentor people that are still incarcerated in prison, to be specific. So you're officially a mentor, bro. That's something you do today. Tell us a
yeah.
little bit about that.
That's great. It was I tell all of my I'm just gonna say Christian friends because I tell these people at church, but I tell anyone who doesn't have a hobby or that has found faith and has a good practice in their life, someone who can just wake up and go to work. You get a lot more to give back than you realize it
Yeah.
because during our orientation, they had an individual out there, grown man, about 40 years old, been incarcerated in a maximum security prison since he was 19, and he's in tears because he gets out in a year, and he was like, "I've never gone to the store bought toilet paper. Like it's always been brought to me
Yeah.
Tuesdays at 7 p.m.
Right.
by someone. I've always been told what kind I'm going to use. I've always been told when to eat and what I'm eating." He's like I've made stuff with commissary, but he's like I don't know.
How to cook grocery
He's
store
like I
food.
don't know where to start, and that's Governor Bill Lee's had a good impact on getting this stuff started.
Yeah, he has, man. He's done wonders for the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, so many ways. But
Yeah, I think he was a member of the Men of Valor too, if I'm not mistaken. So like it's a lot of the Men of Valor people in doing the volunteer mentor, but it's great to be there and to be answering questions and to be involved with someone who thinks they have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and in reality, it's just it's being institutionalized at its at
yeah,
its finest. Like I really was expecting to be paired with someone who had situations that I never experienced, but I got paired with best mentor or mentee, and we honestly just do praise report every time.
yeah, man. This guy you told me about him. He's in his word, man. He's
He
he's
started a church. I
in
went
the
and seen it.
prison.
Yes, I went. He calls it Life 180.
Life 180.
They don't got the copyright for the name, and he gets his mother to make we're using AI make newsletters and sends them in, and he gets them printed out there. So they do a newsletter and everything.
So y'all make cheap plug. Y'all make sure to check Life 180 out, man.
Yeah, yeah. He's that's it. He's got plans to to make it in every prison. That's what is one of his goals. Is when he gets out and gets his life going where he needs to, is to find a way to where every prison has a Life 180 church.
Yeah, man. God, that's beautiful. Definitely
Yeah,
gonna have to have him on this show.
yeah.
Absolutely,
He gets out July 27th.
man. And I know the last time we talked, it's just constantly. You ask me as like your former counselor and still, in your life, like, how do I continue to just fan the flame and encourage this guy, And you do it, man. You do it well. You do it not just with the mentorship program, but you're a regular speaker at TRC. Like I know, before getting as involved as you are now, we'll talk about that. Like you would just text me and be like, "Bro, it's been a while. I ain't spoken.
Yeah.
I come by, and you know you're welcome here anytime. Your family here." So you probably spoke a couple of dozen times
Yeah.
here at TRC, sharing your experience, your strength, your hope, telling our guys who a lot of times are in the lowest points of life. Treatment is a very multi-layered, multicultural place where you have people at all-time highs and all-time lows and all the in betweens. So you're able to give back and tell them like I not only do I understand you because I am you, but here's living proof that recovery changes everything. And I know for me, man, those recovery testimonies is probably really what eventually sold me on the idea that I actually wanted to do this. Like, because the classes are great. They give you all the education. Like, our clients will actually have more education about addiction and recovery than like most doctors will in medical school. So it's great to have be equipped with knowledge, but to understand the application in live action, like it is truly like a beautiful thing to see. So you come, you give back every chance you get, and recently just got involved in some more ways. Tell us about that. Joining the
Oh yeah, on the board at the
board of
tournament. Yeah,
directors.
yeah. I'm happy to be there and happy to be like have a voice in what goes or in I won't say how the facilities run. But have a voice
Not,
in
but you do, yeah.
in the future of the facility along with the community because the facility is not just catering to its clients. We're really trying to cater to the outside community because that's where all future clients are.
Yeah.
And and it's they may not be in more times than less. It's not the people suffering that are interested. It's the people around them that are watching their son, you know, lose himself or watching their daughter. It's the people that care about you that you don't think you're hurting that are here. Give me resources. Let me scan this QR code. So like
Yeah.
it's nice to see all this happening in this small town because which is with as much we have going on here, there should have been something like this a long time ago, and I think there was, but it didn't. Just the timing wasn't right. But it's a good feeling to see recovery everywhere in Shelbyville and to see uh, someone be part of the solution and not the problem. Because you can't just lock up someone that has a drug problem and expect them to come out without a drug problem when they had one before they went in there.
Exactly. And you know me, that's my hot. Like I will preach on that till the day I die. It actually costs more money to a taxpayer to house somebody in jail than it does for them to be provided a treatment bed inside of a grant funded facility, like on a federal level and a
Yeah.
county level. It's crazy, man. So Jason, man, such a blessing to have you, brother, today. So I got a couple of things. We don't wrap up in some usual ways here. So I'm gonna hit you with the lightning round. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, spitball what comes to mind. So, coffee or energy drinks?
Both.
Both. Samesies. What's your favorite recovery slogan?
All I can think of is Joe Dirt. Life's a garden, Dick.
But but you actually have your own
Yeah.
that you coined that we recently put on a poster.
Better
in
I
the,
felt with the drugs, the worse I felt without them.
man,
That's
say it
just
again. Say it again.
better I felt with the drugs in my life, the worst I felt without them.
The worst I felt without him. I think that might have to be the title of this episode, brother. Yeah. Um, Greatest wrestling promo of all time.
Son of a plumber.
Plumbathon.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes, baby.
Down with
Hard
the
times.
winos.
I've
Yeah.
dined with kings and queens, and I've ate on pork and beans, baby. Yes, sir. It's one of my favorites too. What do you think is one of the bigger lessons that recovery taught you about mental health?
Um, there's the cognitive behavioral therapy. I still do still to this day. Last week I was doing it. Breathing.
Breathing retraining.
Yeah. I mean, I still
Yeah, it
do it.
sticks with
Breathing,
you, man.
like breathing's important. We need it to live, but it also like I practice my breathing when I'm exercising because parts of your body need oxygen at certain times.
Yo,
You just doing that alone helps a lot. Um, there's the whole ladder scenario where you play out. All right, my wife went out. She's gone too long. Is she at so and so's house or is she here? And then you write out all the scenarios, and then you just see how crazy some of them sound. And it's like,
what concrete evidence?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, CBT. Just to give you guys a quick freebie here from TRC's CBT class. It's a lot of letters. Uh, the next time you get stressed out, try to catch yourself and not do the because what you're actually doing is typically your brain's running the show and telling your body what to do. But in stuff like with breathing, which is just normal, just does it without thinking, your body is actually telling your brain what to do. So when you're stressed out, that's actually your body telling your brain to tense up. It's no different than if you hold your breath about to dive into a pool. So your brain is automatically getting more tensed up. And you can look up some breathing retraining, or we'll have you back on for sure again, Jason. We can dive more into some cognitive behavioral therapy stuff. But all right, back to the lightning round because man, this cat and I, we get talking about recovery and mental health and everything all day. And who is one person that you would love to meet?
Jesus Christ.
And I think you're on the right track to do that, bro, for sure. Let's see. Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
Oh, I'd love to pick all from the Attitude Era, but I feel like each era needs its own person.
It's true.
I
Really, you
mean,
need a Mount Rushmore for every era,
yeah,
technically. But if you had to pick, like, who's your
Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Stone Cold. I feel like because you say Stone Cold, that automatically includes The Rock because
I know, right?
that's all.
Can't
So
have
I'll
one
go
without the
I'll
other.
go Triple H then.
Yes, my guy. I was gonna give you some grief if you didn't mention Trips because he is the one who is giving more to the game. No pun intended.
Married the boss's daughter.
He married the boss's daughter in real life.
Yeah,
Oh man, so we might have to change the episode to wrestling with addiction. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
We got a couple of working titles. So, brother, as we always end on this show, man, what is the definition of grace in your own words?
Getting that slate wiped clean. Forgiveness you don't deserve.
Mm,
It's God's grace is we wake up with God's grace every day. Prevenient grace, preventative grace, however you can look at it. But
yes, sir.
you don't deserve that, but Jesus died on the cross so that way we could earn that, and it's agape.
Agape love. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is the love that knows no bounds, man. I know. I love the fact that we can look back at life and see where it was there, even in all the craziness that you and I touched on, but how it's there for those who look and tune into it. So whether you're having the greatest week of your life or you got some struggles, maybe it's physical, maybe it's mental, maybe it's financial, whatever it is, take time to pay attention to the grace around you. And man, that's Jason and I signing off. Much love to you guys. Please be sure to check in YouTube, Facebook, whatever you're most frequently on. But the Grace Between podcast is available wherever you decide to listen to your podcast. And y'all stay with us, man. We got some cool guests coming. I know Jason's going to be back, but much love to you, my brother. And we will definitely have you back on. Yes, sir.